The song that Grant gave me was The Pale Horse by Elliot Pullen. So Elliot Pullen is an acoustic singer-songwriter from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I couldn't find a ton of information about him online, but I like the description of his Instagram bio that describes him as just hitting a guitar until something happens. So that made me chuckle. He's got a handful of songs available online, which include the most stereotypical folk punk song of all time, Blue Snow and the Evergreen Trees, The Dark Thing, or What You May Tell Yourself, Funeral for a Fear, and of course, The Pale Horse. Having had a listen through the available tracks, they're all pretty good. The most stereotypical folk punk song of all time being one of the highlights. It sounds a bit like an acoustic Less Than Jake song.
Absolutely. I mean that's how I discovered. That's how I discovered him. I think I discovered him by way of his YouTube channel or the YouTube video of that song. It's available on Spotify, but it's not as good because I think he plays it on a banjo as opposed to an acoustic guitar, and it doesn't work as well, I don't think.
I've only listened to the Spotify version, and it's good, but it is very rough around the edges. Like it's a bit like a demo, I guess.
Yeah, he certainly seems to be more active on YouTube and Instagram. I think there's actually only 3 songs available on Spotify.
I think all the ones I mentioned are on.
Oh, are they all on Spotify?
They're all on Spotify, or did some of them I might have got from Bandcamp? I can't remember. I've not been that specific, but they're out there somewhere. You can
absolutely.
You can listen to them. So the Pale Horse is a bit more laid back than the likes of the most stereotypical folk punk song of all time. I'm having a hard time saying that, man.
No, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't
it? So yeah, it's a bit more laid back, and there's still like this. I said it was a bit rough around the edges, so there's a definite DIY vibe about this track. It is more polished, and it reminds me of House of the Rising Sun by the Animals a wee bit.
That's exactly how I've described it.
And I don't know if you do you know Amigo the Devil? It's like an acoustic.
I don't think so.
He's sort of folk punky as well, and then even a bit of Fantastic, the sort of thing that he does as well.
Yeah,
I like the creaking acoustic guitar. I like the rattle to the drums. I think it's like a Cajun or something like that. And then there's a nice like wail to the female backing vocals as well, which is a nice touch. And I think that this sort of lyrical content makes sense for a song with the name The Pale Horse. It's very apocalyptic. Right from that opening line, there's a plague spreading around. It'll kill the world wide. And the rats are all feasting. They're feasting on flesh. And it's quite a vivid... the lyrics are quite vivid in that way, which reminds me a bit of The Man That Comes Around by Johnny Cash. Doesn't sound that similar. They're both sort of acoustic-led songs, but it's just kind of the whole pale horse thing and the horsemen of the apocalypse and that kind of theme around the song that reminds me of it. But I quite like it. It didn't blow my mind, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think you've kind of described it pretty well there, to be honest with you, Snedds. In my notes, I've described it as being a mashup between The Animals' House of the Rising Sun and Early Dylan. In particular, it reminded me of Masters of War, which again is suitably apocalyptical as well. And being a fan of Dylan, yeah, this was right up my street.
There's a good Masters of War is a song that Pearl Jam cover quite a lot, and there's some good live versions of Masters of War. That's actually how I know that song.
All right, okay.
Like Pearl Jam performed it when they do from Bob Dylan, for whatever reason, but that's who I associated with, even though it's not their song. But so it's worth having a listen to that if you're interested. But I've given this a 7. I think it's quite.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I've given it an 8 just because, like I said, it just reminds me of early Dylan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 7 or 8 it's fair. I'd like him to release more content. I mean, I know that we are obviously we're aiming to cover new material or new songs. And this was released like last year, so it's like almost a year old. But yeah, I think, it'd be good for him to see. It'd be good to see him gaining some traction and gaining some kind of popularity, because I think there's a lot of talent there, and it'll be interesting to see what he comes out with next. I watched a few videos on his YouTube channel, and I think he was writing songs or recording himself singing some of his own material to enter in competitions and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think one to watch anyway.
Aye, man. So that's The Pale Horse by Elliot Pullen.
Oh.
The old are all dying, the young will be next. While the rats are all feasting, they feast on the flesh. The captain is blowing holes into the hull, while the air is infected and the sky's going dark. We can't see the sun, we're all staring down the barrel of a gun. While the raven of pestilence soars through the air.
It's not finished. It's finished.